Welcome to LSB Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
This is 97.1 FM Talk. From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
And here we go.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. Look at this statistic. Wow. Stung by the loss of more than $2.8 trillion in their net wealth. $2.8 trillion. The nation's households paid down debts in the third quarter for the first time since at least 1952, according to the Federal Reserve. Did you hear what I said? The households, meaning people like you, overall paid down their debts in the third quarter for the first time since at least 1952. 56 years ago. Says here, as of September 30th, the total outstanding debt for households shrank at an annualized rate of 0.8%. From $13.94 trillion to $13.91 trillion, according to the Fed's quarterly flow of funds report. It's the first decline in household debt ever recorded in the report. People are paying their debts. Good. Says here, households paid off more mortgage debt than they took on for just the second quarter on record. Mortgage debt fell at a 2.4% annual rate to $10.64 trillion. As foreclosures mounted and fewer new mortgages were taken on. Other consumer debt, such as credit cards and auto loans, increased at a 1.2% annual rate in the quarter to $2.6 trillion. Total U.S. domestic non-financial debt increased at a 7.2% annual rate, boosted by a post-war record 39.2% increase in debt taken on by the federal government, mostly to fund the Federal Reserve's massive efforts to provide liquidity to credit markets. Excluding federal debt, U.S. debts rose at a 1% annual rate in the quarter. And it goes on. But can you imagine that? We are paying off our debts. We're paying off our mortgages. We are paying down our home equity loans. We are paying our car loans. First time in over half a century. Mostly, we just increase the amount of money we borrow, and we don't worry about it till later. Holy cow. So these numbers are fascinating, and they tell you a lot about what's going on. You know, we know individually what we're doing or not doing. Now, what is that? Well, that's very nice. I don't know what it is. Unbelievable. Some noise in the studio. I don't even know where it's coming from. All right. Yes, Dean, I know it's not you. It's a long Italian fart. What was that? Anyway, the numbers are very telling. We're scared. We're scared of losing our jobs. We're scared of running out of savings. We're scared of paying interest. We're scared of having bad credit ratings. And so we're paying our debts. So out of all of this badness comes some goodness. Now, there was a poll in the Los Angeles Times, and of course I'm sure you didn't read it, because who reads the Los Angeles Times anymore? I've seen the numbers, not many of you. But that's okay, I read it for you. What's left of it? As you know, the Times parent company, Tribune Company, is bankrupt. So the Los Angeles Times has been reduced to pamphlet size. But here's what happened. A survey of 1,000 adults taken this past weekend. The polls showed that most of those surveyed favored increasing government intervention in the economy. Half blamed lack of regulation for many of the nation's current woes. About 2/3 back tighter regulation of banks and financial institutions. I agree. Half said the federal government should take an ownership in banks and other industries to save the private sector. I don't agree. Asked whether such moves would constitute a step towards socialism. Listen to this one. Well, they're talking about whether Barack Obama was a socialist. Asked whether such moves would constitute a step towards socialism, about half said yes, but just 20% said that this worried them a lot. Look at that. Most favored President-elect Barack Obama's plan to engage in public works projects as a way to kickstart the economy. That's what they did during the Great Depression. And 60% favored helping individual homeowners who face foreclosure. Disagree with that. And then it goes on and on. I happen to believe that we should do whatever we can. Public works projects are a good start. Remember that bridge that collapsed in Minnesota? I mean, our freeways are a mess, bridges are a mess, tunnels are a mess. Okay, let's do that work now. And that's one way we can get the economy going and do something we need to do at the same time. Good idea. But I honestly believe there isn't much the government can do. I believe the pendulum swung too much in one direction, and now it's swinging hard the other way. And I'm not really so sure that what the public wants to see the government do would actually work. Helping homeowners who are facing foreclosure. How is that going to help? Who's going to pay for it? Yikes. How many of those people were flippers? People who watch HGTV. Huh? Jesus. And, I do think we just have to work through this phase. We have to see a certain amount of contraction of the economy. We have to see a certain number of companies go out of business. We need to see a certain number of people lose their jobs. We need to see the stock market probably drift a little lower. We need to see real estate prices get to something more reasonable. And we need to see companies get their act together who have been sloppy, lazy, and fat during good times. And ultimately, I think everything will be better. But it's going to take a couple of years. It's not going to happen right away. There is going to be pain. And folks, for years, you've heard me on this program telling you to have a rainy day fund, telling you to save money. Did you do it? Did you do it? Probably not. Did you save money for possible unemployment or for health problems you might have while you're not working? Probably not. This is why I tell you you need a rainy day fund. But for many of you, it's a little late now. So I'm curious, do you agree with everything I just read to you? Do you agree that Americans are paying down their debts? Have you been paying down your debts? I wonder also if you think the government can fix this. I think it's way too big for the government to fix. And frankly, it's like asking the government to fix a snowstorm or asking the government to fix a tsunami. You can't fix it. You have to let it blow over you. There has to be a certain amount of collateral damage. And then you pick up the pieces and go on from there. Do you disagree?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
The Tom Leykis Show. Way moving faster. We take more calls. We take them faster. You have a better chance of getting in. We have shorter commercial breaks. We're on 6 days a week. Saturdays 2 till 6 here in L.A. on 97.1 FM Talk. If you've tried for years to get through, try 1-800-5800-TOM right now. 1-800-5800-866. I'm just curious. Have you been paying down debt? Do you agree with this statistic? Also, finally, I'm wondering if you think the government can fix the economy. I don't think they can. And we just have to live through it. Taylor on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing, man? I'm a short-time listener. I'm a second-time caller. I really do like your show, particularly when you talk about finances, because I agree with you just about 100% when you're talking about finances. I put myself through college, earning a master's degree, working full-time, going to college. My parents didn't have enough money, so I do have some student loan debt. And I also party a lot in college, and I ran up a lot in credit card bills. And I'm to the point, the economy is hell for most people. I'm to the point in my life, though, where I am just about paid off all my credit card debt from drinking too much in college, paying down a good amount of my student loans, have a really good job with great stability, and I have been paying down my bills. I'm to the point where, I have like $1,000 left credit card bills to pay, and then I've got like $6,000 saved up to put down on deposit on a house, and I'm going to have 2 months saved up to pay on the mortgage of the house, if anything happens. And so I'm in a really good position. I think I think a lot of people are trying to get to that position, and that they need to start saving their money and paying down their debt. As far as the government getting out, being able to save the economy, I don't think that's going to work. I think it's too large, and I think, as you said, there needs to be a market correction.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the government doing what government is supposed to do, like fixing the infrastructure, okay, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's fix the bridges and tunnels. Let's fix the freeways, highways, expressways. Let's do that. Let's fix the water systems in big cities. Let's fix the water mains and what have you. Great. That's what government does. Government shouldn't be in the bank ownership business. Government should not be in the bailing out auto companies business. Let the government do what the government does.
I completely agree with that. And I really think that you hit the nail on the head when you said that there needs to be a correction. The pendulum swung really far one way, and I have a master's degree in history, and I've read a lot about the Great Depression era, and I've read a lot about the greed that's happened in this country. And if you look at a scale of home prices from 1900 to 2000, from 96 to 2001, it was off the charts, and that is not natural. And what we have right now is a serious correction to get us back to something that's sustainable.
Absolutely right, Taylor.
Hey, can you take me out when you do take me out with a bong hit and a Kobe, man? I'd love that.
Here you go.
This is about us. She's so special to me. You're the beats in my heart. You're the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hi to Scott on the Tom Leykis show.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. I disagree with the government bailing out anybody, whether it's the auto industry, the banks. Let them fend for themselves. I understand the trickle-down effect. If the auto industries go out, it hurts Fram oil filters. It hurts numerous of people. It's not our problem. Not our problem at all. They need to maybe go watch the movie Gung Ho, where the union workers took a cut in pay and worked 15 hours a day, 6 days a week to turn around their car companies.
Yep. Or it may mean some companies have to go out of business. Some already are.
Absolutely. As far as the banks, they need to pull their head out. I mean, let's get real here. If they came out with a flat 4.5% interest and offered it to everybody and did a flat $3,000 processing fee where the money's paid up front, how many millions would that generate? You save $500 a month on your house payment. Are you going to put that back into the economy? Probably at least half of it.
I think you're making a very good point.
And that's, the banks are greedy. I mean, if I can save $500-600 a month on my house payment, I'm going to put at least $300 or $400 back in the economy, taking my family to dinner, taking an extra vacation. They're still going to make millions of dollars on me on interest on a loan at 4.5%.
Yep, I think you make good points, Scott. I thank you for the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Bernard on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, hello, Tom.
Hi.
How are you?
Do you care?
Yes, I do. I love your show. I think you're a great guy.
Thank you.
And my to get money back in the economy, stop sending money over, buying foreign products, stop buy American made only, and keep more jobs in America.
So you would buy an inferior product if you thought it was inferior?
I would buy only American if it were only American, if it was more American products on the market. You go in places to buy things and stuff it's made everywhere but America.
Yeah, well, who's going to sell you an American TV set, for example?
Well, you got Panasonic as an American TV set.
No, it's not. It's Japanese.
Well, we need to get more off the trade value.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean we're buying more products over there, and they're not paying more American dollars for the products they're sending over here. We need to charge more.
Who's supposed to charge more?
The Japanese companies are sending their products over here.
Well, why should they charge more? I mean, if they can sell them for that price and people want to buy them, what's the problem?
No, I'm saying that they need to spend more money sending products over here. They should have to pay to make money here. They should have to pay more money to the American economy.
But they help the American economy by taking people who could not afford a flat-screen TV and making one affordable. So what you're saying is that people who don't have money shouldn't be able to afford to buy a flat screen.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
You agree with that? So if there's a Japanese company that makes let's say an LCD screen for $499, and I saw one at Costco, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that somebody who is poor this holiday season can buy their family a HDTV. You're saying that they shouldn't be able to buy that TV.
Yeah, they should be. They should be. No, I'm on the cell phone.
You just said we should charge more. We should make the Japanese pay to sell that TV.
No, I'm saying that it's another way they can put more. We can put more money back into the American economy. We shouldn't be just going downhill.
But what are we supposed to do about it?
We got to lower some things and put more jobs. Every time I look up, it's something.
How are you going to do that? If companies aren't selling anything, if revenue is going down, if people are not able to buy anything, and companies have employees who are there to make products that nobody is buying, what are these companies supposed to do?
They're supposed. I feel they should. It's a way where they can more money could be made here instead of more. How? That's what the economics professors and all that supposed to be able to figure out.
Oh, okay, great. We'll leave it to the professors. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Ed on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. This is Ed calling in my car from Santa Ana, man.
Yeah.
The question I had for you, sir, I've called in quite a few times, but I'm just curious. Does the United States have a bottomless wallet? Is there a number that we can put on that once we've spent that much, that's it, we're done? Somebody come in and buy us because we're as broke as all the companies?
It's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, this year, here's a new distinction. Here's a new record we're setting. This year, I just read this today, we are going to, for the first time, have a budget deficit for the year of over $1 trillion. That's more than twice what the budget deficit was a year ago.
Well, it's gone up in leaps and bounds since I was in high school. I'm just curious. I mean, it's getting a little scary. At what point do we get bought out by some company or country that's got more money than us because we don't have the money to basically protect ourselves? They decide, look,
doesn't China already own us now?
In a matter of speaking, they own all the deeds to everything in the United States, but I'm just curious as to when they call those deeds in. I've heard rumor that there's a certain point where, I don't know the exact wording of it, but there's a certain point where when the foreign countries start to see that we've thrown so much money out there, they're going to pull all their funding out of everything they have here and take it back to their countries. And at that time, we're screwed.
Well, you know what? The more dollars you print to give to the auto industry and to give to AIG and to give to Citibank, the less your dollar is ultimately going to be worth.
And I'm asking, isn't there a point where it's worth absolutely nothing and then anybody can come in and just buy us?
I'm sure that is true.
Tom. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. What can the government do about the economy? I say very little. Stop looking to the government to fix this. Let's say hello here to John Paul on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Dad.
Son, how are you?
I am well. Thanks for asking. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yes.
I will leave China and Japan to the professors, and I'll just wanted to ask you where the statistic came from that you talked about.
Which one specifically?
What was the source of the debt being paid down? Who did that statistic?
That comes from the Federal Reserve.
Uh-huh. Well, you know, it's a good sign. We don't see it here in the real world. I wanted to say hello, and I wanted to share a little paradox.
So wait a minute,
you.
Before you do, what you're saying is that you're not paying your debts?
I am paying my debt, and the way that I'm fixing the economy without the government's assistance is I am cutting spending, and I am on a weekly budget. Quit spending money.
Yeah, well, why do you not believe the statistics?
No, I'm with the statistics. I agree with what you said. Those are hard facts. I'm just saying that I believe the government can do very little. So why don't we try to fix ourselves?
That's what I think we have to do. I think we have to waste less money, pay down our debts, start saving money.
Look down at your belly and realize that whatever 70% of the world's going to sleep hungry tonight. I just have a paradox to share, and then I won't waste your time. I'm on my way to the new Ultra Resort where I'm a fine dining server in Newport Coast. You may have heard of it. And I'm serving tonight. Have you watched the show Secret Millionaire?
No.
They take ultra millionaires like yourself, and they have them act indigent and homeless in Imperial Beach and other areas, Watts, California, for a week. And these people that don't have a pot to pee in, they are, you know, benevolent and helpful to these millionaires. And then at the end of the week, the millionaires write these checks for $100,000 to each, you know, person that helped out. Anyway.
Yeah, I read about that show.
Anyway, it's compelling and emotional, and I can relate to it. But I'll say that I saw that show, and I saw the guy that said, you know, where his houses were, and I said, I know I'm going to see that guy because all the wealthy, super wealthy here in Newport Coast are popping their head into the lounge and dining room. So I said, I'll see that guy. 2 nights later, I'm in the pocket. I have 4 tables going. Everything's great. There he goes walking by. I go up and shake his hand. I say, I caught your episode. You know, great job. And he said, what's your name? You know, real nice guy. Anyway, he's coming in for dinner tonight, Thursday night.
Did he send you $100,000?
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. Another reality show that I doubt is real in any way. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Sean on the Tom Leykis Show.
What's up, Tom?
Not much.
I was wondering if we could just make Iraq the 51st state. That'd get us out of debt.
Well, I'm sure there are a variety of unconstitutional and illegal ways to try to fix things, but not a good idea, I don't think. Bill on the Tom Leykis Show, hello.
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
It's okay.
Hey, I just wanted to kind of talk about paying off debt, making good money in hard times. I think it's a lot easier to pay off debt if you're making good money. Most of the people right now that like myself, I am self-employed. They're not self-employed. Their hours are cut. And regardless of how bad they want to pay out their debt, it's just not feasible for them. So, I mean, that's the majority of the population, and I guess it's pretty much so-called helpless.
I just don't think there's much the government can do. First of all, the government is broke. It's deficit spending. It's deficit financing all this stuff. You know, and people want the government to do more and more.
Well, what the people want is the government to give them jobs, is what the people want.
Well, again, I'm totally in favor of the government doing these infrastructure projects and fixing up the bridges and roads and tunnels and what have you. I think it's a great idea. Well, I think the government should stick to do what government does, and that's one example of what government does. I don't think the government should be giving money to banks or car companies.
Well, okay, I have a question for you on that. Why not? I mean, the problems that could cause by them not giving money to the banks, especially the banks, could be, you know...
The banks got themselves into this trouble. The banks caused a lot of our problems.
Well, so did the people that were taking the loans out, too.
Again, you know what? The banks could have just said no to all of them. They didn't.
There's greed all the way around.
But you know what? It was the banks who made these loans available to people who shouldn't have gotten them. And I think the banks should pay the price. And I don't think what's going to be the big loss if banks go out of business. So what?
Well, who really knows what the loss is going to be? Does anybody
you know
know?
what? I'm ready to find out. You know what? I'm ready to hold my breath and find out.
Well, hey, get this, Tom. As a real estate appraiser, I have an appraisal business up in Washington. About 75% of my work is all foreclosure work. Now, these people I'm appraising their homes for that is now going back to the banks, they go to the banks and they say, hey, there's no way I'm going to be able to make this payment. We need to renegotiate my loan. I'm $50,000 upside down. Well, after the foreclosure process goes through, the bank is now $100,000 upside down. You know, I mean, how bad? How much?
How many times? Now, maybe you're one of the honest ones. How many times do appraisers go out there with pressure from the realtor and others and say this house is worth a certain amount of money, knowing it's not, just to get the loan through?
Here's the thing. I think that's such a small percentage of it. Here's what the lenders did. They got creative, and they created modules called AVMs, and these AVMs were automated appraisals that the lenders would use, especially subprime lenders. It would cost them $50. They'd run an AVM on a property. The AVM would spit out a price of $250,000, but the AVM would not take into consideration deferred maintenance, the roof falling in, and we lost a lot of work at these AVMs. And another thing they did is they started ordering drive-by appraisals.
Well, then you know what? I think the banks should pay for that. I don't think we should be paying for the bank's greed, the bank's mistakes. I don't think we should be paying. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Mike on the Tom Leykis show.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm one of those evil short sellers that you hear about in the news. Made a ton of money off the bank failures and such over the last couple of years. And in regards to the government help that's being passed out right now, you know, there's two words and a preposition: misallocation of resources. That's what's happening here. You're sending good money after bad down a rat hole.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, even if you go to the consumer end of it, and we don't talk about the banks, and we don't talk about the government, think about, why does every teenager need a cell phone? You know, why does every mom, single mom, regardless, need to be driving an SUV? Why does a family of three need to be living in a 5,000 square foot McMansion? You know, it's ridiculous. And all of that waste is what's coming back now to bite us. And when we'll get out of it is when we get back to the basic needs, and we can cover them without debt. That's when we get out of it.
I think you make a lot of sense. I thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Tom on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Great.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a little concerned and torn with the way the economy is. I'm not quite in agreements with the government going in and bailing out all these companies. you know, we're talking college educations. It takes all kinds to run this world. And we got people with college educations looking for jobs, and you got people with high school educations looking for jobs. Now, the ripple effect, nobody, I don't think, really concerned on how wide this ripple effect goes. It goes quite far. You got all these homes in foreclosures. You got all these jobs being lost. You know, I work for quite a large firm. It's a privately owned firm, and we even feel the effect. So to hear everybody, you got your right hand saying we should bail them out, we should do this restructuring. Then you got this left hand saying, you know what, we should let them go under. I'm kind of concerned on how big people really think this is and how far it goes, because what isn't manufactured here comes from overseas. What is manufactured here, we ship. And actually, we're talking a lot of people going bankrupt. People aren't going to be able to put roofs over their heads, and I'm in a position where I'm fortunate. You know, I don't have debt. I make a decent living, and I'm more concerned about my children. You know, what are we doing now for the next 15 to 20 years when like my children start to step into this world?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's something that we needed to think of together as a country, but we've been in a coma for years. And what I don't like, here's what I don't like. I've worked very hard to make good living, worked very hard to save, to plan, to invest. I did not take unnecessary, stupid risks. I did not leverage myself up to my eyeballs with debt. And now I'm supposed to feel sorry for people who did whatever they wanted and gave no thought to what would happen, no consequences for them. And now I'm expected to bail them out. I don't like it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I pay I pay enough in taxes that, you know, I don't mind if I even have to pay more, but to go out and pay for everybody else's mistakes now, yeah, I made mistakes of my own and nobody paid for mine. I had to spend a lot of years to take care of that, and now I'm on the other end of it. I've kind of learned, but
now we're paying for AIG's mistakes. Now we're paying for Citibank's mistakes. Now we want to pay for General Motors' mistakes, Chrysler's mistakes, Ford's mistakes. And of course, millions and millions of greedy morons who went out there and ventured into the real estate business that they knew nothing about. And so now those of us who were responsible are going to be expected to bail out those who were not. And I don't like it.
Well, here we got Congress themselves saying to the big three, you know, where's the money going to come from? They're flat broke as it is. Here I am. I live in California, and you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger has got a little billboard which telling you how many days they can't pass the budget, how many billions of dollars our state's in debt. I mean, if it's not companies filing bankruptcy, now it's states filing bankruptcy. Where is this coming from? Where's the money coming from?
It's coming from those who are responsible, like you and me.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know how deep my pocket is.
Well, I totally feel your pain, brother.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
The Tom Leykis Show. From Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. Yeah, the economy's in the crapper. What's the government supposed to do about it? Tyro on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Doing okay, Tyro.
Man, I don't know exactly what I think that the government could do, but I need some advice on what I could do.
Okay.
Tom, you know, I go to West LA College. I'm planning on transferring to a university. You know, I know you're big on college, and I'm pretty big on college as well. But today I received my check in the mail from my job, and it was $116, and that was for 2 weeks. And I just made up in my mind, I'm fed up. I need to learn what to do with my money so I won't be in this position, because it doesn't feel good when you see a check and it's that much. It wasn't that much when it's not. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, he said no, but that's exactly. I want to learn how to invest. I want to learn how to. I want to learn how to invest in stocks.
Step one is to make sure you don't have any debts.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any debts?
Right now, a student loan.
Okay.
But that's only for $1,500.
What about credit cards?
I currently own 3, and I don't have any debt. I'm really scared to use them.
Right. Now, at this time, the next thing you need to put away is money for, we used to call it a rainy day fund, but this is a goddamn hurricane. You need to have money put away in case you don't have any money coming in.
Yes.
You got to do it.
Yeah, because I don't have, my savings account is probably like $20.
Yeah, no. You got to step that up. These are your first investments.
Yeah.
You are not ready to invest in the stock market until you have that taken care of.
Okay. And roughly how much should I have saved up how much should I have saved up before I should start thinking about the stock market and other like CD accounts and...
Well, a minimum of 6 months of living expenses. So you need to add up what you spend every month on the rent, groceries, clothing, you name it. Figure out how much you spend per month, multiply it by 6, and that's how much you need to have. Before you do anything.
Okay, so...
And that is not the money you invest. That money stays there.
Oh, okay.
Then on top of that, you put money away to invest.
Okay, and is there a percentage that you recommend that I save, like out of how much I make?
Well, yes, I recommend a minimum of 25% of what you make.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. And I also want to let you know that I listen to your show a lot. And when I got this check today, I made up in my mind that I'm gonna do some things differently. And I actually went to Barnes & Noble at the Grove. I picked up The Millionaire Next Door.
Oh, good.
And this is gonna be day 1, and I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna start reading this, and this is gonna be my Bible.
You got to learn to think like a millionaire.
Yes.
All right, Tyrone. Good luck to you. Call me back. Let me know how you're making out. Zach on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, first-time caller. I appreciate you taking my phone call.
Sure, thank you.
Hey, I wanted to give you a call and touch up on something that you had talked about in the show about 2-3 years ago. But first off, just to give you a little background on me, 30 years old, went to a really good university, worked every single day since graduating, didn't have a credit card till I was 26 because I was scared to hell to get one because I didn't want to get in debt. But anyways, about 2-3 years ago, you made a comment on your show saying that the people who are in real estate and make money over the long haul are real estate professionals. You then followed it up by saying that people who are out there trying to make a quick buck in real estate are going to fail. And now we're about 2-3 years after that, and I can tell you I have about 5 or 6 friends who are all doing mortgage loans at the time, trying to get me to come over and do that, and then investing on the side in different houses and renting them out and trying to flip them. And what ended up happening is they got in over their heads. The houses didn't go up, but obviously their mortgage rates did. They're all foreclosing. This doesn't count in on the Lexuses and the Range Rovers that they bought as well. But I just wanted to say thank you for that advice, because I think that the reality is that people are greedy, and when you combine greedy with being unintelligent, it's just a disaster is going to happen, and that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Andrew on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Hey, I just called to say, I mean, all about this economic stuff. People just need to own up to their faults and stuff and stop being a skid mark on the backside of the economy. I mean, be a man. You freaking took the money out, and now you got to pay it back. I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, myself, I ran into a little financial trouble, and I finally caught up with it, and they're actually willing to help you if you're willing to own up to your mistakes and help you get out of debt. I mean, it's just that
well, because they would rather get some money from you than no money.
Yeah, and see, the thing is I've got a good job now and everything, and I don't want to be the person for somebody else's mistake. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because I make good money now, and because of Obama, nothing against him, I think the whole tax thing is good. But he's going to be taking more out of my pocket than some guy who's making minimum wage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, all I have to say to all the listeners out there is own up to your mistakes, pay your money, and this financial crisis might be over. Don't look to the government for all the answers.
I agree with you on that, Andrew. Thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello to Scott, listening to our online stream in Las Vegas on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hi.
Hey, long-time listener.
Thank you.
You know, I just wanted to comment. I'm sitting here listening and talking and, listening and hearing people talk about the bailout. And what I don't think people realize is we have to try and avoid that at all costs. Most Americans are just so incredibly naive that it makes me sick. An economic system that is based on things primarily owned and controlled by the government is socialism, and we need to get away from that. And I don't think people realize that allowing the government to bail out the banks and to buy things and do stuff like this and control that sort of stuff is socialism, and it's occurring right in front of our faces, and we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And I think that if we can't just own up to this problem, we as a people, and I'm talking about like the people that made really poor choices, it has to take its course. We can't let the government step in and do this because it just pushes us more towards socialism, which we all know, is not an ideal form of government.
Well, the poll says people don't even care if it pushes us towards socialism. Our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.